Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about Levonstrade. Wait, I meant A Working Man. Based on the 2014 novel written by Chuck Dixon, A Working Man released on March 28, 2025. It's an action thriller directed by David Ayer and co-written by Sylvester Stallone. Like in last year's The Beekeeper, Jason Statham and Ayer pair up again in a guns-blazing tough guy narrative. Quick heads up, this review will contain the occasional spoiler, but I will do my best to avoid them. That said, let's talk about the narrative. Centered on Levonstrade, a former Royal Marine commando turned construction foreman, his good life is shattered when Jenny Garcia, the daughter of his employer Joe, is abducted. Joe asks him to use his experience and get his daughter back, and at first, Levon's like, "No, I can't help you, I've left that life behind." And then, literally 1 minute later, he's like, "Alright, I'll do it. You're my family." The switch up is so cheesy, it's actually funny. But anyways, Levon starts investigating her disappearance, and it leads him from one group of Russians to some bikers, back to some Russians, and back to the bikers, and back to the Russians, and back to the bikers, and eventually some elitist rich asshole. The plot of this movie is pretty straightforward. It's basically Taken, but in a much more cheesy Jason Statham way. There are a lot of side plots with various criminal factions, making this movie feel a little more bloated than The Beekeeper. However, at the end of the day, I don't really care about the bloat in this movie because I knew what kind of movie I was watching when I sat in my theater seat. This is a Jason Statham movie, and he's going to do what Jason Statham does: take names and kick ass. If you watch this movie expecting it to be anything other than that, then you're going to be sorely disappointed. However, if you're like me, then you're going to have a good time with this movie. It's the stylized action I've come to love from Statham movies. There's some good dark humor sprinkled throughout the movie, and it works really well with the tough guy violence. Like always, Statham plays a solid action hero. Levon is stoic and formidable. Even when his cards are down, there's never any doubt that he won't get out of his situation. He's confident and has a plan, and is the kind of macho man we all secretly wish we were. He also doesn't come without his flaws. He's a father, albeit not a great one. However, it leaves room for him to grow as a character, as shallow as that growth is. This movie is packed with characters. David harbors in this movie for about 5 minutes. He's basically Levon's military buddy and gets him the guns he needs for the climax. Michael Pena plays Joe. He's also in this movie for about 5 minutes. Despite some of these bigger name actors, the real stars in this movie are the villains. They are very cartoony, and I love that. I love the Russians and the idea that they have an entire syndicate. I love the bikers and their drug trade dynamic with the Russians. I love how over the top some of the characters like Viper and Artemis are. I love how over the top Dutch, Nestor, and Karp are. They're kind of like villains in John Wick, except they aren't really good fighters, so they stand no shot against Levon. I think I liked every character in this movie except for one. I've been going back and forth with my thoughts on Jenny. I like that her character is a jiu-jitsu karate black belt of sorts and is a tough girl, but I didn't care to see her breaking free from her captors or fighting back against them. For one, it makes her captors look like amateurs, so it lowers the stakes. And secondly, I watched this movie to see Jason Statham kick ass and not Ariana Rivas. It's nothing against her acting, but her character and scenes felt out of place and forced in this movie. Maybe that's a pretty base take, I don't know, let me know in the comments. Given the narrative of this movie, there are multiple settings and I appreciated that. Whether it was the club, the biker bar, millionaire homes, construction sites, ghetto apartments, or even a secretive elitist gambling den, there was a lot of variety in this movie. Scenes were visually engaging and I never got bored. Audibly, I also had a pretty good experience. I love the sound design and the weight of punches being thrown around. Nothing makes your action feel better than a good old meaty smack, crack, and pop. This concept can be applied to the guns and the gunfire. Whether it's machine guns or an M14, I love how heavy the gunfire sounds and looks. I love it when characters get shot and are blown away. It's cartoony and fun, and it shows that this movie doesn't take itself too seriously. There are also some cool mic drops in this movie. My favorite is during a fight between Levon and some bikers. Dropkick Murphys' The Boys Are Back is the perfect song for a bar fight. The last thing I'll say is that despite all the fun I had, this movie definitely could have been a little shorter. Just 4 minutes shy of 2 hours, this movie is about 20 to 25 minutes too long. I know there are a lot of factions and characters, but this movie should have been about 90 to 95 minutes max. Again, I think if you cut out Jenny's scenes, tighten up some faction scenes, and make the intro to the conflict a little shorter, this movie would hit the sweet spot. A Working Man is exactly what it promises. It's a working man's action movie, meat, potatoes, punch and kick, grit and guns. It's bloated, a little messy, and maybe tries to do too much with too many characters and factions, but in the end, it delivers where it counts. Jason Statham fans like me will eat this up, and if you like hard-hitting action, stylish violence, and over-the-top bad guys, you won't leave disappointed. Is it perfect? No. Is it deep? No. But it doesn't need to be. It knows its audience, and it plays to them unapologetically. If you're looking for a movie that reinvents the wheel, this isn't isn't for you. If you're looking to turn your brain off and be entertained, then I can happily recommend this movie. Thank you for listening to my review of A Working Man. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.